So when it comes to consumer sentiment, consumers are worried. Many people believe that inflation will rise. Many people believe that the economy is going to worsen. 6 in 10 people are not comfortable spending money on non-essential items. And what it really comes down to is every financial decision is being scrutinized. And a lot of these decisions are happening at the grocery store. So over the course of the past few years, we have seen people really comparing prices while in the store, switching to store brands, but we are now more seeing people are buying fewer items. So again, probably likely less of those non-essential items, and people are beginning to use coupons more and more frequently. We are also seeing spending cuts in a few other areas, restaurants, bars, food delivery, and travel. While these did kind of dip in 2020, they rebounded slightly, but we are seeing them dip again. And then from an advertiser perspective, what we typically see is clients are coming to us with two ideas, two options for us: a budget reduction, and let's move all of our media to performance tactics. However, what we are seeing in studies of the last recession, that advertisers who are maintaining or increasing their spend and advertisers that are maintaining a balance between brand building and performance media are actually faring better during these economic times. So we first took a look at the last recession and saw what happens when advertisers increase their budget at this time. So brands that increased media investments saw a positive growth in incremental sales, saw strong ROI, and they saw brand building with that strong ROI back-to-back years. On the right side of the screen, you'll see what happens when we make our decisions now in the upcoming years. So year one and year two, we'll call them recovery, post-recession. As you can see, when you cut your budget, it may not have the strongest impact in year one, but in year two of recovery, your market share starts to decrease. This is likely because awareness has started to drop. You really maintain that market share when you maintain your budget, but if you increase your budget, you can see that your market share increases year over year beyond the recession. When we are talking about this, we should also think, what are our competitors doing? So a brand can lose up to 15% of their market share when a similar sized brand increases their budget. So maintaining your budget is going to be crucial at this time to really keep your market share. If you think about it, if you decrease your budget, your competitor is just naturally going to swoop up that market share. And when it comes to revenue, we looked at the COVID-19 impact of net revenue with Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So slightly different situation, but we can see that when Coca-Cola decreased their budget by 35%, they actually had a net revenue loss of 11%, whereas Pepsi maintained their investment year over year and actually saw a 5% increase in net revenue. So not only do we want to keep our budget at least neutral, we also want to make sure we are keeping a nice balance between our brand and our awareness assets, along with our action and performance assets. So it's really important at this time to start thinking of your conversion or your sales funnel as a performance funnel, and really understanding that anything that you're doing for brand building and awareness now is going to impact your future performance as you are feeding that top of the funnel. And as we move down, our demand and our consideration part of the funnel is really working towards our near-term performance. And of course, performance is impacting us now. And during these times, it is also crucial to make connections with your consumers. So we want to make sure we are speaking to our brands with an empathetic voice. We want to make sure that they are feeling valued and understood, leaning into personalized messaging. Consumers are always interested when they interested in your brand when they feel like you're speaking directly to them. And of course, customer service at this time is going to be crucial. Consumers are willing to pay up to 15% more for a product or service when the experience is right. So when all of our finances are being heavily monitored at the home, we want to make sure that our customer service is top notch. And of course, there's going to be times when investing is going to have to decrease. And you can't always maintain or increase spend. There are a few marketing levers that can be pulled to make sure your brand is remaining visible during this time. The first is prioritizing your consumer experience. So again, leaning into your first party data, reaching your current customers, reaching your high value prospects with that one-to-one messaging, leaning into your owned assets. So having clear communication and consistency across everything like your website, your map listings, social channels, and even your consumer packaging. You want to generate earned media at this time as well. So really strengthen your PR efforts, rely on partnerships, engage influencers, and really look for things that are going to give you longevity. And finally, you may need to focus on your seasonality. So you may need to prioritize your budget to align with your peak seasons to gain the most impact. And as we wrap up this first section, we just have a few takeaways and opportunities. So again, keep advertising if you can. Maintaining or even increasing ad spend during a recession has proven to show positive sales, ROI, and market share. Take a balanced approach, really making sure you are balancing both brand and performance to really capture your short-term profitability and your long-term viability. And finally, messaging does matter. Make sure we are using an empathetic voice and being communicated with honesty and compassion.